Welcome to the weekly DXdao community call, which alternates between kind of recaps of the latest happenings and resource coordination. This week is the recap, and we'll start with latest product updates. Geronimo, take it away with Omen.
Yeah, so we pushed out a test version for our important upgrade to Omen, which allows Omen to scale on DXdao. The interesting aspect here is that we kind of merged the mainnet experience with the DXdao network. So people actually need to deposit something into Omen now and withdraw something out of Omen. That's like the bottleneck. The positive thing is that once people actually put money into Omen, they are interacting with Omen like basically feeless, and that's amazing. So we have a test version out on dxtest.eth. Everyone who wants to bridge some DAI into the Omen account can do that now and can test it out. That would be amazing. We have a lot of new UI components with that coming, so check that out. And we have like a very active working group building up, which will spec out the Omen token economics. And we are also like in the process of speccing out the technical requirements for the Omen guilds. And also like in parallel on that, we're also like working on getting wireframes out, which reflect the technical specification of the Omen guilds. And the result of this very important Omen working group will be a Q2 roadmap for Omen. Any questions?
I guess if people are looking to follow along on the Omen tokenomics or Omen guild discussion, what would be the best place? We haven't really published much recently, right? Like there's some stuff that's being worked on. And we'll be probably talking about it some more tomorrow on the product strategy call, I think.
Definitely, like anyone who's actually interested in joining the working group or just like observing what we're doing can just ping me on Keybase or Discord. And then I'm gonna make sure that those people are invited into the internal working group. We have a meeting on tomorrow after the product coordination call. If people are interested, ping me up. Yep.
Yeah, and there's been a lot of developments on the Omen guild stuff, and Tammy's been doing a really great job. I do think it would be good to have another like update maybe on the forum post, just because I know there's been a lot of work being done. So maybe in the next week or two here, we'll have another update to provide on the forum.
Yeah, I think that's totally. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so as far as I see it, there will be like basically two roadmaps, one for the token itself and like a draft proposal in terms of like the token economics for the Omen token, and then the whole product roadmap. And that is something like we worked on a roadmap 4 weeks ago, and it's completely not up to date. It's like we fixed it. We actually pushed out a lot of stuff, and we didn't mention the Omen guild at all. So I think for Q2, the Omen team will primarily work on the Omen guilds, which results in like making sure that we release a roadmap all about the Omen guild.
And for people who might be new to that term guild, I think that's, at least as I understand it, right? We have DXdao, which is kind of like the main organization, and then guilds are the communities, and which will in the future have their own tokens and token voting that kind of like operate the individual products, right? And they're part of the DXdao. And then squads, if I understand this correctly, are like the working groups that are, just groups of people getting paid by DXdao to work on the different products. Okay, cool. Any questions or thoughts on Omen before we move on? Okay, Martin, do you want to talk about Mesa? We just had a good call about Mesa, actually.
Maybe just coming from the call where Nico did present the structure of the smart contract, and we invited everyone to give us feedback on this. And yes, it's quite interesting, and I think it is we have a good architecture to be future-proof. And this week we are working still on the investor dashboard side. The design is now really finished, so the designer finished today. I had him the last feedbacks with little things we need, and this is in the implementation during the last several weeks. And yeah, I made like a new roadmap for the next 3 months, and I think one of the major goal would be if we going to sell Omen token, that we can use Mesa for this. And so this is very good, because then we have like a focal point where we can move, we can work for it. We also, yeah, maybe I share the roadmap. Just a second.
Yeah, for those who aren't aware, on this past week's dev call, which happens on Tuesday, we reviewed some of the roadmaps and timelines for Mesa and Swapper. Yeah.
Put the roadmap in the comments so you can have a look for yourself, or share the screen too. So it's just it's quite a sporty roadmap, I guess, but I think it's very good that we have one that I made, the second one on the request of John, and I think this is good to do, because then we are more focused to what we are working on. And the thing is that we will try to have a test sale at the beginning of the April. So the idea is that we can deploy it on DXdao, and then first we do it DXdao wide, and also if anybody wants to take part in such a sale, there are two possibilities. Either we sell just one ETH off for DXdao, or we maybe do a fake sale of a fake token, but we have to figure it out what's best. The thing is they're different, because if you sell like a ETH token, a real one, then you have like a target price who is very clear. You don't have a lot of variants of it, and this in a way it's not a very well idea to test the auction, because the auction is there to find a price for something which hasn't a price yet. And if you sell ETH off, then you have a clear price. But if you're doing a fake token, then you have like the same problem, because it's not real money, and then people will just giving any bits. And yeah, but this will give us some feedback on the interface, how people are able to hack the interface, and then we use this to make the product better. So we have like one main goal for the April, but if we see, the main goal would be that we are really production ready to do a sale, and if Omen is ready, then maybe do the Omen sale. But we have one constraint that mainly is about getting the code audited, because auditing is in high demand, and yeah, this is like one of the bottlenecks we have. Then I think we will focus heavily on the front end for the investors the next time, but then we will shift to the dashboard, because we also need like a not user-focused interface. We need like the interface for the projects doing IDOs, and then we will shift our focus on this on the other side for the IDO projects doing IDOs, and then we will try to make first like a draft which we can use internally to test it, and then we will try to make like a really design version to use it like in the public. And this is like afterwards we had like we finished like the front end. And then I think we will shift the focus again and think about how we can make a Mesa token, because at the end, because it's a permissionless protocol, so everyone can in a way can sell off token, and we need like you have to govern this. And at the start, maybe the DXdao is governing this, but we want to get rid of the governments from the DXdao side. And the idea is that we make a token, and then we can have like a tokenomics for this product, and this will make it much better. Or yeah, I think it will make it better, because then people can help us to create value in the protocol, and we don't have to do it all by ourselves, and we can start to have a community too. So yes, I think this is it from my side. Questions?
Go ahead. Somebody's starting a question there.
No, I ask for questions if any questions are.
I was just going to say, on the audit front, we are fortunate to have a good relationship with a pretty experienced auditor. I think ideally we'd like to have a couple audits for something like this, and it might be hard to schedule a second independent audit in the current environment. I reached out to some of the main brand name firms like Open Zeppelin, Consensus Diligence, Trail of Bits, Sigma Prime. They're all booked up through July and August at the moment. So
the good thing is, if we deploy it on testnet, then we can use it unaudited, because the downside is little, and we can lose some ETH, but that's it.
Yeah, we can do other things. Like, I mean, we will get a professional audit. We can do more internal review. We can do some small tests with, basically like the equivalent of bug bounties. Yeah.
Okay.
Any questions on Mesa? Or yeah. Okay. For Swapper, Zet, the product manager on Swapper, is getting some sun this week and hopefully recharging. Who is? I don't know if maybe I should give the recap, or maybe Federico or Venki would want to jump in.
I can provide about farming and the network switcher things that we are working on. So farming is being worked on by Federico. The single reward program is almost complete. We have a few more features about liquidity mining dashboard that we want to build. The multiple reward program is being worked on. And a lot of testing is still pending. So that is on farming. And then we also are working with the network switcher. We found we hit a snag there where we are not able to switch back to mainnet if the wallet connected is MetaMask. So we had a call today, and then we were trying to see how to address this one. It's a bit of an extra work, rework in some places as well. So that is on the network switcher. After this, we would be working with token lists and governance. I also have one request. I would probably reach out to the community early next week, where we would want a lot of hands on testing out Swapper by jumping into the pools, claiming rewards, hopping out of the pool, and so on. So I will create a talk post about that, and I hope that you guys can help out as well.
Thanks, Venki. And related, also Swapper now with the latest release on XDAI and with the so-called smart routing, where we actually pull in liquidity from other Uniswap forks, and you can directly trade on those from the Swapper interface. So on mainnet, that's Uniswap, SushiSwap, and of course Swapper liquidity itself. And then on XDAI, that's HoneySwap and of course Swapper itself at the moment, and maybe more to be added in the future. And there's some liquidity from the Treasury finally into Swapper. There is kind of like the first deposit on the WethDAI pair on mainnet, and just a test amount on XDAI. So that's pretty cool as well. Any questions on Swapper? Oh, the other thing is we had this awesome AMA. Nice job, Keenan, organizing that. That I thought went very, very well on Discord. But yeah, any questions? Cool. Can we show the memes here? Yeah, I don't know, Keenan. Maybe we'll get to that in a few minutes. I think maybe we could talk a little bit about governance. There's a few fronts here on governance. We have the DX vote that Goose is working on. We have ERC20 guilds and planning to be used for Omen Guild. And Nylon, I don't know if you wanted to say something about the call we had this morning with the Lego group.
Yeah, sure. I was going to talk also about like the BizDev call, but no, or should I briefly talk about this as well?
Yeah, we'll go to the BizDev call after governance. Treating governance as like it will be a product someday, or it's an area of development for now, and maybe a product someday. Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, a bunch of ex-DAO Stack people have been sort of, I guess, what's the word for this? Specking out the next iteration of a useful governance system. It's mostly based off of DXDAO's needs, just because I think DXDAO is the most progressed, I guess, organization that actually practices decentralization. And yeah, we had a call. My evening, your morning. Yeah, briefly going on about like what this is, how we got to this, and the potential collaboration with DXdao. Generally, like very broad strokes, it's sort of using Gnosis Safe as the front end, and it's fairly simple, supposed to be composed of existing products and contracts on Ethereum, and the goal is for this group to raise some funds, perhaps from DXdao, Gnosis, and not sure who else, and build this. And if it turns into an actual product, then I don't know, maybe give out a token in a similar way to Mesa or Omen. So yeah, I think that's fairly brief.
Yeah, very cool. Okay, and let's do this then. Next, we usually recap like the other calls basically in the order they happen. So let's start with the BizDev call with Nylon, and then Keenan, I think we can go to you this week for the first time maybe, since we now have that marketing and comms call happening on Monday as well, and then we'll go to Chris for governance. So yeah, Nylon.
Yeah, sure. So this week in the governance call, a few topics to discuss. One was DGov pool made by PrimeDAO. As of now, the sentiment doesn't really look good, but I need to make an XDAI proposal just to test the signals and whether this makes sense. Basically, for DXdao to participate in a DAO token balancer pool. Another thing we discussed is sort of DXdao putting money into Ethereum 2 staking. I looked into one solution, stake-wise. I think someone said that Lido is shady. I can't recall who. I don't think Rocket Pool is live yet, so that's irrelevant. But if anyone knows of any other ETH2 staking products, let me know. I'd like to get them to speak on the Monday call. So that's that. And we have been discussing the DX Ventures investing into Opolis, which is an interesting opportunity. They reshare the tokenomics document, which is interesting. I don't think there's a decision yet on whether we invest or not. I think that's it.
Very cool. Yeah, the DGov thing is interesting, right? It's like a balance or like almost like an index for projects that have decentralized governance. At least that's like what it's aiming to be. So I immediately think of something like the DeFi Pulse Index, but I think some of the feedback, I mean, it was partly mine on Monday, was that maybe the ones that PrimeDAO is including are not like up to DXdao standards for decentralization, but yes, it would be great to get some signal from the community on that. Any questions on the BizDev stuff?
Or the Lego DAO stuff, maybe.
Or the Lego DAO. There was a DX Ventures blog post too, which I encourage everyone to read. All right, if not, Keenan, do you want to take us to the comms and marketing?
Yeah, so just a brief recap, and considering that this is a public call, we discussed the swap for AMA and how we think it went very well, and that we want to explore what we did more, being the AMA, possibly with Omen's tight DXdao integration, or POAPs with many other things like governance, first 100 people that lock DXD and Gov 2.0, stuff like that. So we have a couple of notes here for that. We, as usual, did our content calendar and have our next post laid out, and we'll have a better update tomorrow that we can share in a better format, rather. And we also discussed the potential Omen landing page. I believe Sky is going to have a meeting with Raid Guild today. And if that falls through or they can't do it, we'll be exploring other potential firms for getting that done as soon as possible. And yeah, that was it for the call, I believe. I'd like to give a communications update in general as well, but I can do that after the call recaps.
If I think we could do that now if you want.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So since the last call 2 weeks ago, we have the article for the month in review. We did the swap for AMA, in which we have a post coming for that shortly. And we also have the Governance 2.0 upgrade post, which I would recommend reading in its entirety. And the very successful DX Ventures post yesterday received some clicks. As far as our Twitter goes, Discord competition had just completed as of Friday. And if you haven't yet, I've posted a form a couple times, and we'll be announcing the meme competition winners in roughly 2 hours. So if you're yet to do that or have any questions about it, let me know. And yeah, I go ahead.
I think Chris is going to say what I'm going to say. So, do you want to share the screen for the?
Yeah. Let's.
Yeah, I can.
This is a visual call. Perfect opportunity to.
Where are the memes? Give us the memes.
Are we doing the memes?
Yeah.
We have to see that.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
We can see.
Can you zoom in a bit?
I can maximize them.
Or click over. Yes.
There you go.
Yeah, so we had a couple that were very high effort. I think this one is phenomenal.
This one's deep. Oh man.
Yeah.
This would have been really dope like 7 months ago.
Wait, did I see Clement's head in the clouds? Wait.
Yeah.
Yes.
I didn't see that. That's really funny, actually.
So I'll go through them maybe in 5 or 10 seconds each.
This one I think is great because we do generally shun centralized exchanges.
I think this was like the very
nice.
first day, and we hadn't at that point announced an AMA or the buyback. So I think this is a really weird like premonition of what we were doing. I don't know how he guessed everything correctly.
Wow.
I like this one too.
Nice.
Just a great meme.
I feel like I've aged like that over the past year. That's
Yeah, no doubt.
truth.
Great meme.
There were a couple that were obviously lower effort, but still fun.
I like this one.
Nice.
Yeah. That's
What show is this? I watched it as a kid. I forget.
This is
Tintin. Yeah, that's it.
Tintin.
Yeah. Billy's smart. Very smart.
yes, Drake.
I like this one, but I don't like that it's taking a shot at other projects. This is the big one for me.
This one cracks me up. Sorry, Geronimo.
Sorry, this is horrible.
And this is great too.
Truth.
A couple of animations. We had a lot of chatter of people that like the NFT explorations. Maybe we should chat a little more about that tomorrow.
So hot right now.
So hot.
We have some boomer humor here.
A little sophomoric.
Yeah, it's like boomer humor. What's that?
This one's neat. I don't know if this was completely custom made or if this is like a template, because if it's custom made, that's pretty cool. But I have a suspicion it's a template of some kind.
I feel like, is that Bitcoin over there?
Yeah, Bitcoin.
Very pretty.
Yeah. Feel like
Pineapple.
they should
Is
have
that
like,
a pineapples? Yeah.
in there too.
They also animated it.
Oh,
Just kind of neat.
Okay.
Oh, it moves. Wait.
I'd also like to know if this was handmade or a template of some kind.
manhole template.
And the last one.
Yeah, I like that one too.
Okay.
Nice. So you're collecting votes, right, Keenan? How can people?
Yes.
Nobody has any excuse now. You've all seen them. So
Yes.
maybe we post a link here.
Yeah. Let me. I'll copy paste her here as well. You'll need access to the channel to see the corresponding number. So if you aren't yet in Discord or have the contributor role, just let me know and I'll tag that onto you right away.
Great. Oh yeah, so contributors, the DXdao contributors are voting on this, not general.
Yes.
Awesome, thanks Keenan, that's super fun. Nice job in general with Discord.
Thank you.
So you also, like the DXD was sent out to the Discord competition winners, right? I saw people were happy about that.
Yes, I think I did 120 Gwei and it took like 16 hours, which was pretty sad.
That's being thrifty. That's good. Okay, cool.
Is thrifty now.
Yeah. Any questions for Keenan before we move to Chris? All right, governance call time.
Cool. So I guess it's been 2 weeks. So kind of go over a couple different things that have happened. So the big thing I think in the last couple of weeks has been XDAI. We've seen a big shift in proposals over there and a big decrease of proposals on mainnet. So like all of the worker proposals now, Martin, I think you're yeah, so all kind of proposals have shifted over there. So really, if you're kind of looking at where governance most of the time is happening now, it's really happening on XDAI. There's $450,000 worth of assets in XDAI. I think there's about 270 of that is in XDAI, and then the rest is in WETH. Some of that is being deposited into Swapper, about $200,000 worth, and that's the initial liquidity on Swapper on XDAI. So there's a couple different proposals right now that are putting initial liquidity in, testing, unpooling it. So a lot of work kind of in doing that on XDAI. There's been troubles with tracking rep and figuring out how we do rep awards while also having worker proposals on XDAI, the same on gas. We're trying to fix through this, but they're kind of as a big takeaway here, mainnet rep is claimable on XDAI or any other base that DXdao may deploy on. And so that is like the amount of rep you have on mainnet, you can claim that amount on XDAI. So there's been a bunch of proposals already to match that up. This XDAI base was actually deployed last fall, October, and about 75% of rep was mapped over. And of course, there haven't been any updates to the rep updates the last 4 months on mainnet have not been reflected there. Make sure it kind of matches up your rep there. I'm working on forms and info with the new docs section to make it a little bit easier to calculate the mainnet rep awards, either by percentage or how we do a monthly amount. And we'll need to have a quarterly process of actually like processing mainnet rep awards through the mainnet base. So working on a bunch of things there, hoping to have things kind of by the end of the month. In general, as we go through this process of shifting a lot of our governance activity over to XDAI, I think it really highlights and illustrates benefits of a reputation-based governance system. The fact that we've been able to just like port a whole system onto another like chain and have everyone like send tokens over or do something like that. I think we're now managing worker payments there. We have a AMM that we're providing liquidity on, and I think that's kind of done because we've been able to port over that. So I think it should bode well as we try to look to the multi-chain future and lots of other things. There's been some discussion the last 2 weeks. So just as an overview, we have diversified about $2.1 million into stable coins, that base and the mainnet base. there is about 1 point. So that's still ongoing. This is primarily happening through the dev multi-sig. We were doing around 100 ETH chunks, and this is happening every 2 days. And the current plan is to continue structure laid out in the original Treasury author to 3 million for SUSD and USDT and what we actually will. But for now, we're going to continue on this plan, and then like that, when we get to that, which I think we're probably on like the next 2 weeks, that will be a discussion on the next steps in terms of treasury diversification is keep buying more stable coins, but also like using the treasury in strategic places, presumably Swapper and other things. Kind of gear up for that. Yeah, and then I guess the last thing is we are increasing a lot of the liquidity from the treasury. So this is happening both on mainnet and DXdao. So that'll be something that will time, and we're kind of coordinating around that. There's currently a proposal right now to have 200 ETH put into Swapper on DXdao across 4 different pairs. So coupled with the liquidity that's being deposited right now with the proposal, we should have, almost I think like 600K of DXdao liquidity in Swapper on DXdao, maybe 10 days after it goes through DXdao proposal. So working on that. And then lastly, just on an HR update, kind of 2 weeks. So Tammy, I don't know if this is actually your first community call is this, but Tammy is kind of like transitioning like a general counsel for DXdao. I don't know exactly how that what it does, but so trying to areas across like the legal and governance area. Obviously, she's been doing a lot of work in Omen Guild stuff, and then Dave Fluid Drop, who has the cool there, has been helping out in treasury accounting and is finishing up his trial period. Actually, is I think 2 weeks is today. So we'll be hopefully looking to put that into a formal proposal.
Yeah, I think we lost you for a second there, Chris, and there's been some intermittent. Okay, I think we maybe just lost Chris for now. But
oh, I thought it was only me.
No,
he was breaking up like every 3 seconds.
I think it's Chris. Yeah, he's got the red dot.
That's okay.
Oh, no, he's green. There you are. You're back.
It's I actually think I'm switching internet if anyone is cared about the news in my but yeah, so those are 2 kind of updates on that, and Dave has been doing good work on the treasury stuff, so hopefully we'll have more clarity on that. And then I made a post yesterday on some of the existing positions we're looking for and some PDFs that you can share there. And yeah, and then there's a couple people we're talking about the HR stuff, and good to hear moving forward on that. So I think that's it. My red dot is back.
Awesome. Yeah, any comments, additions there, comments, questions? Cool. Anything else we should talk about? We're like actually under time. This never happens.
I guess one quick thing I missed from the communication section. We're doing very well on the documentation book. Many of the issues I brought up, I believe at the last call, have been addressed. We have a couple bugs to squash and a couple more things to write, but beyond that, we're pretty much there and ready to move forward with it. I think awesome. Perhaps once we've solved those little problems, I'll get an IPFS build prepared to share around.
Very cool. Yeah, thanks, Violet, for working on that stuff. And Keenan.
Yeah, pleasure.
All right, great. Well, anything else? If not, we can wrap up here. If some people want to stay on, maybe we could use those few minutes to talk HR stuff if we wanted to do that. And all right, I'll kill the recording now.
That's a good idea. Okay.
Cool. All right. Thanks, everyone. Stop the recording. Feel free to stay on. Talk to you later.